Yo, what's going on, my people? This Tony with IntoTheDome.com coming with episode number two, The Disrespect of 1997 Hip Hop. Since episode one, and I thank you guys for checking it out, was about 1996 and the internal war of hip hop in 1996. It's only right to go to 1997 next because man, this year gets so much disrespect and overlooked for what it really meant in the 90s because of course the 90s are a great decade when you're thinking about the early 90s with the rise of native tongues, then of course 94 with Nas and Biggie and everyone, and of course 91, 92, 93 with Death Row. Think of the late 90s with raucous movements and things like that, DMX coming and stuff. So 97 is often talked about as the I guess the year of the shiny suit era, the start of the shiny suit era, which we know that several people in 96 were already complaining about the state of hip hop, even though 96 is one of the deepest years in the culture. But 1997 is kind of like the poster child for this bad year of hip hop. Like, oh man, let's just skip over 97. Let's go from 1996 to when DMX brought hip hop back in 1998 and Pun and Cannabis and everyone else, Most Def and Black Star, and also, but we're gonna just bypass 1997 because okay, Bad Boy, right? So let's do this real quick because 1997 is always disrespected. So let's get Bad Boy out the way real quick. Yes, Bad Boy dominated the radio and the clubs throughout 1997. Yes, in terms of volume, they did. That being said, we're going to get to a whole list of amazing albums and projects from 1997 that was more balanced than people give that year credit for. So yes, let's talk about this. Let's look at this. Bad Boy had 7 songs on the charts, and most of them ended up being the highest charting songs of that year. Yes, I'll be missing you because Biggie passed away. Obviously, that song was gonna be a big song, big video. They did it at the award show. Yes, Sting, the 80s sample. Yes, that happened. Can't Nobody Hold Me Down with Mace. Huge song. That happened. All About the Benjamins. Which that is a hard song. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's some commercial. No, people still rap over the Benjamin beat. So that's 3. What we have right here? You still have Hypnotized. Yes, that's the single. You saying? I mean, what we're talking about. We have here More Money, More Problems, and Feel So Good with Mace. So I mean, that's 7 songs. That was in the clubs. That was on the radio. So yes, Bad Boy was killing it. Yes, if you look at the sales, Biggie Life After Death sold like 690,000 copies or something like that in the first week. It was number one. That's true. Yes, Puff No Way Out still sold, almost 600,000, I believe, the first week. That was big. At some point, Mace ended up selling like 200 and like 60, 70,000, what I'm saying, records in the first week. So they were on fire. Bad Boys on fire. Big Ed just passed. So obviously, if a legendary figure in the culture died that young, his music is gonna get overplayed. I mean, that's just gonna happen. We're gonna get played like that anyway because Life After Death was an amazing album. But nevertheless, it was kind of overall Bad Boy had a lot of stuff on lock with the clubs and the radio. But 1997 was so dope and awesome because of the balance. People think it's not balanced, but there is a lot of balance. We're going to get to that balance. And I'm gonna give you an example. Starting off in like January of 1997, man, one of my favorite hip hop soundtracks came out, man, for the documentary Rhyme and Reason. Oh man, that Rhyme and Reason was dope, man. And MCA had one of my favorite songs on the soundtrack. It probably was my favorite song on the soundtrack. This joint called Represent. Man, that joint was hard. You know what I'm saying? So you had Rhyme and Reason starting the year off. You had right after that in January still, yeah, Camp Low, man, Uptown Saturday Night. And I'm gonna tell you, they brought something very new to the game, man. I used to always enjoy their vibe and their videos. And man, Camp Low Uptown Saturday Night, produced by Ski Beats, man, right here from North Carolina, where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? I mean, who don't love Lucchini? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I mean, that was a great joint. Funk Flex Volume 2 came out. Following that great legendary Volume 1, Volume 2 was insane. Bunch of hardcore joints on there, just dope freestyles. Man, it was all that. You know what I'm saying? Scarface dropped Untouchables in the first quarter of that year. Untouchables is probably one of Face's best albums. And of course, we know about the joint Smile with Tupac on there. And speaking of Tupac, obviously he died the year before that. So that Are You Still Down came out, and I want to say it was second or third that year in sales. You know what I'm saying? So millions of copies. You know what I'm saying? So for the Tupac fans and stuff, they still got a taste of Pac on Smile on the Untouchables and the Are You Still Down joint. Uh, KRS One dropped. I got next. I got next. That was probably the end of KRS reign. But from like 87, 88 to like 97, 9, 10 year run, KRS One arguably has one of the top two or three solo runs in rap history. You know what I'm saying? And he ended his run with I Got Next. Hard boom bap. That's what y'all want, right? Step into a world, right? Primo, whatever. So now I've named several already. What's boot camp click for the people came out. You know what I'm saying? For your backpack Tim guys, boot camp click for the people. You have variety here. You know what I'm saying? Wu-Tang Forever in the summer. Let's go there for a minute. Let's go there for a minute. Because just like Life After Death did, Wu-Tang Forever had midnight sales everywhere. People had to go, if you want to get a copy, the night it was released in the summer of 97, people was in line at midnight to get it. I was there. Man, we was riding around the parking lot playing Wu-Tang Forever, man. It was everywhere. Wu-Tang Forever was massive. Ended up selling 4 million records. You know what I'm saying? So you talking about a hardcore grimy rap album, 4 million sold, man. CNN War Report came out the same month in the summer of 1997. So for cats who was really wanted to hear the essence of New York hip hop, CNN the War Report, Capone Noriega, it still felt like in the same vein of that the infamous. You know what I'm saying? So hardcore joint, man. You know what I'm saying? Lost Boys, Love, Peace, and Happiness came out. You know what I'm saying? This all we still in the summer. I've named about 7, 8 albums already, and the list goes on and on. So Love, Peace, and Happiness. Of course, the legendary track "Beast from the East" is on there, featuring mixtape, soon to be mixtape legend, freestyle legend Cannabis, kicking one of the best verses ever. You know what I'm saying? So Cannabis verse on "Beast from the East" and then expect the deck triumph, two of the best hip hop verses maybe of the 90s. You know what I'm saying? And this is 1997. So Beats from the East, open a lot of doors for Cannabis in terms of like notoriety. Redman is on there. This cat named A Plus. I mean, just a dope joint, man. So Lost Boys are still kicking it. You know what I'm saying? So you got Wu Tang, you got Lost Boys, you got Capone Noriega. All of this stuff is in the summer. You got Twister Adrenaline Rush. You got Crew Dirty 30. The Dirty 30 is, I mean, you talking about amazing hip hop. Y'all like boom bap? It's got the boom bap joints, the samples, man. They got a joint on there called My Ever Loving Man with that Sade uh sample on there, and in the song with a Sade sample on it. I absolutely love it, man. Also, we can't forget 1997. Missy Elliott's Super Duper Fly comes out. And when you first see I Can't Stand the Rain or something like that, it just the video, the innovation, you know what I'm saying? Missy Elliott changed the game, man, with Super Duper Fly. Timberland that was really like the start of the world seeing what Timberland can really do. And of course the rest is history with Missy and Timberland, man. Bone Thugs dropped their joint, man, The Art of War, and it actually was top five, I want to say, in sales that year and first week sales, double CD. You know what I'm saying? So Bone Thugs was killing. It sold millions of records. You know what I'm saying? So and they had like maybe two singles, I think, was in the top 10 of singles that year as far as sales and airplay as well. So again, you still seeing this long list of other people who had great music. Because again, hip hop is not just the clubs and the radio. Though Lucchini and Triumph and all of those songs did play on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Then when LL had Phenomenon came out in '97, he played on the radio. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that was a commercial album. but there's a lot of hard albums on there. Let's talk about Royal Flush, Ghetto Millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Hard joint, Queens MC Royal Flush. Let's talk about OC Jewel's album, man. I mean, Jewel's is one of my favorite hip hop albums. And you're talking about some of the greatest production. You got Buck Wild on there, man. DJ Premier on there. I mean, Big L is on there with OC, and I think during the Jewel's tour, I want to say OC had Big L touring with him in Europe, and being his kind of like opening act, and even like kind of his hype man or something like that. You guys can look that up. You know what I'm saying? L was trying to get on his way, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's 97. L was still grinding. You know what I'm saying? So he was opening up, I want to say, for OC. That was another dope joint. Master P drops Ghetto D, multi-platinum album, legendary for the South. The tracks on Ghetto D, I don't need to name them, look them up. Was in the clubs, was on the radio. Master P was massive doing Ghetto D. You see what I'm saying? So let's keep perspective, man. Like it was large. You know what I'm saying? People were still playing. ATLs came out in '96 at the time, but that's nevertheless, the 1997 releases were still real strong, man. What else we got down here? Commons, One Day It All Makes Sense. Big singles with Lauryn Hill and CeeLo. You know what I'm saying? It was really the album that Common kind of put everything together. You know what I'm saying? From his debut album to Resurrection. You know what I'm saying? And then he really matured on this third outing with One Day It'll All Make Sense. And that's when I believe he became the MC that we know now. He know how to make the records. He know how to make the hits. You know what I'm saying? He know how to still rhyme. You know what I'm saying? So Common was still killing it on One Day It All Makes Sense, man. Um, can't forget about Volume One, Jay-Z. And yes, it wasn't Reasonable Doubt, but and let me say this: yes, he was working with Puff and them. I think that Volume One, he was on the No Way Out tour, if I'm not mistaken, until they broke off. Yeah, he tried one or two songs on Volume One to gain commercial success, and the album did go platinum, so he did get that commercial success he was yearning for. But yeah, people criticized him because it wasn't Reasonable Doubt. Now, if you go back and look at the track listing, because we talked about this on Twitter, um, some of Jay's best rhymers on Volume One. Let's keep it real. Friend of Foe joint, Imaginary Player. You must love me. Streets is watching. I mean, Jay was rhyming. You know what I'm saying? The intro. You know what I'm saying? Jay was rhyming his behind off on Volume One. You know what I'm saying? If you take off maybe two commercial joints, I mean, it's fire. You know what I'm saying? So, but then to offset some of these harder albums I just named, you did have Mace came with Harlem World, and that was awesome. Obviously a huge album, multi-platinum album. Again, Puff and Mace and Biggie, they was on the radio all year '97 in the clubs anyway. So this was just a continuation of that. Later in the year when Harlem World dropped. I mean, Mace was a big star, man. Mace might have been the star of '97 outside of Biggie, and Mace and Puff in terms of commercial success and notoriety. Of course, Big had passed, but the album kept going throughout the year. Since it went diamond at some point. But so yeah, but Mace was a big star, and again, people equate that year with Puff and Mace. But Mace can rap, man. You know what I'm saying? Jadakiss, talk about this all the time. I remember one time, Charlamagne the God, they had them on the Breakfast Club, and they the Locks was on there, and Jadakiss kept saying, man, Murder can rap. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. So Mace could rap, but of course the success, he wasn't rapping like he was when he was in Harlem, with Children of the Corn and with Cameron and Big L and and I think Bloodshed and a couple other guys, McGruff, something like that. But it's been a long time since I listened to their joints. But Mace was large. We can't deny that. But again, you still have other nice joints that you can still pop in your tape deck. Tracy Lee, from that It's Party Time. A lot of people thought that Tracy Lee was just, dope with that one song, but Many Faces, man, was a dope album. Like hard lyrics on there. He had that joint with Biggie. If you don't want to die, keep your hands high. And that's probably, to me, I would even say that was one of Biggie's best verses or best performances on a song. that Keep Your Hands Out with Tracy Lee. One of his best performances to me of his short but amazing career. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, can't forget about that. Speaking of that song, that is also where Jay-Z got What More Can I Say? They took that same sample. It's the same damn beat. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of is what it is. Um, Organized Confusion, the Equinox. Yeah, Organized Confusion is crazy. Of course, Pharaoh ended up being one of the greatest MCs to me. Organized Confusion always had dope albums, you know what I'm saying? Dope songs, concepts. They very lyrical, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to Poe also. Prince Poe was also a very dope MC. But yeah, Pharaoh next level, man. I have him in my top 20 all time on Into the Dome, top of the dome page. You know what I'm saying? I really think he's one of the greatest MCs of all time. I got him around, I don't know, 17 or 18 in my top 20. I don't remember which number, but it was in that range. But as far as natural ability, natural skills, that's what it was. And the Equinox, man, they displayed some creativity, man. There's a song in there called In Vitro. You know what I'm saying? It reminds you later when you heard Nas joint Fetus. You know what I'm saying? But Pharaoh was known for that because they had the joint Stray Bullet, and Nas ended up having I Gave You Power. Organized Confusion also had what's the other joint they had? They had Stray Bullet, of course. They had In Vitro. Pharaoh had a joint on Desire called Trilogy, and it was about a marriage basically gone wrong, and it's a crazy story. Trilogy is one of the best storytelling songs I've ever heard. Trilogy also puts you in the mind state of Undying Love on Nas I Am album. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, you got those albums, man. What else if I'm missing anything? Of course, Will Smith had Big Willie style. It was commercial success, but to offset that, you know what I'm saying? 8 Ball MJG had lyrics of a pimp. You know what I'm saying? So again, you had this kind of balance thing right here with that year. You know what I'm saying? And I still feel like you know there's a really a what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, it's misrepresented when you think about the disrespect of 1997. You know what I'm saying? Because you would think this is a down year. But let me just run through this real quick again. You got Rhyme and Reason. You got Camp Low, Uptown Saturday Night. You got Funk Flex Volume 2. You got Scarface The Untouchables. You got Biggest Life After Death. You got Careless One I Got Next. You got Boot Camp Click for the People. You got Wu-Tang Forever, which is a massive joint. You got CNN The War Report. You got Lost Boys album. You got Twister album. You got The Crew Dirty 30. You got Missy Elliott joint. Again, you got Mace Harlem World. You got Volume 1, the Jay-Z. You got Busta Rhymes When Disaster Strikes. You know what I'm saying? You got Mac 10 based on a true story. You know what I'm saying? You got, of course, No Way Out. You got the Bone Thugs, Art of War. You got OC Jewels, Tracy Lee, Many Faces, Royal Flush, Ghetto Millionaire, Master P, Ghetto D, EPMD Back in Business. You know what I'm saying? Which was a big deal at the time because it kind of came out of nowhere because we know that for several years, man, Eric and Paris were not speaking. Um, Eric Sermon, went at him a couple of times on was it Hitting Switches, man, and stuff. I mean, Eric Sermon had a couple of dope albums. Double or Nothing was dope 2 years prior to this. So people was like, they not getting back together because they had some real. It was alleged that Eric Sermon had some guys run up in Paris Smith crib or whatever. So, and I think it was on the Beef DVD. So EPMD Back in Business in 1997. That was a big deal, man. And it was a dope album. You know what I'm saying? So that Common, one day it all makes sense. Organized Confusion album. Again, man, 1997, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of stuff. A lot of hits right there too. You know what I'm saying? So let's also look at some first weeks, some sales also. You know what I'm saying? Just for some perspective. So we can kind of talk about that. First week Life After Death, man, it was at 690,000. I think I said that a few minutes ago. Puff No Way Out, 561,000. Bone Thugs, man, 396,000 records. You know what I'm saying? First week, Harlem World was 270,000 records sold. That week, I think I said that a few minutes ago. But then Ghetto D with Master P is right here with 260,000. You know what I'm saying? So there was some balance there. It wasn't just Puff, Mason, Biggie, but they did dominate the most sales though, man. But there were just so many dope albums, so many dope songs that year. I mean, look, Wu-Tang kind of sparked a little war against mainstream hip hop. Also, when you listen to them talking at the beginning, I think of this too, before the Triumph came on, you know what I'm saying? And then throughout that album, I felt like Wu Tang was kind of battle rapping and challenging everyone in hip hop. I think they were trying to display their dominance again because RZA had been on an amazing run from 36 Chambers up to Forever. If you actually look up what he did, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it might be possibly one of the best runs ever. You can debate Primo, but we're talking about full projects. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like RZA might have been that the one for that time period. So he talked a lot of trash on Forever. Listen to interludes and listen to the RZA on Forever. You know what I'm saying? Even listen to the MCing. You know what I'm saying? They really was challenging commercial hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But again, that didn't start in '97. We talked yesterday on episode one about De La Soul, The Roots, and J. Rue the Damager, all dissing the current state of hip hop in 1996. That's before, again, that's before Life After Death, before No Way Out, and before Harlem World. You had MCs the previous year already dissing the state of hip hop. So we can't sit and act like 1997 somehow ruined hip hop. Yes, going forward, a lot of people try the formula, I guess Puff formula. So now we're saying because of 1997, Puff ruined hip hop. Are we saying that? Are we saying that because of the success of those samples and stuff from 80s joints that hip hop was ruined? Because we're thinking about that, most people that took those kind of samples, they end up being radio and club songs anyway. There is always a space for radio and club music. Radio and club music is not gonna always be what you're gonna pump in your car all the time. You know what I'm saying? There is a place for that. So did the shiny suit era and theory and stuff really hurt hip hop that bad? Because let's think about this. 1998 comes, I have to bring this up. Black Star, DMX, Jay Z, Brand Nugans, Outkast, Criminal. Go look up 1998 hip hop. It's one of the greatest years in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So hip hop bounced right back. So how was it, how did 1997 harm the following year and the years to come in hip hop? Because people start sampling some joints. So by the time 2003 came, everybody was back on soul samples again. But even before that, with the Blueprint One, with Kanye doing what he was doing, the Blueprint, at the same time doing that, Jay Dilla production, you know what I'm saying? Then you end up having your other guys come, Just Blaze, Ninth One, all these guys. You know what I'm saying? So this whole commercial thing and 80s sampling thing and all that didn't really last that long. And if it did last that long, if that's the way you want to look at it, did it really affect hip hop overall? Clubs and radio. We need clubs and radio stuff right now. It's like saying, oh man, Ja Rule shouldn't have never happened. Why? Because people need those tracks too. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Nelly shouldn't have happened, right? Or this person shouldn't have happened. No, all of that is necessary in hip hop. And 1997 to me did not hurt hip hop. I think the disrespect of 1997 is utterly ridiculous. I just named all these joints. I still listen to a huge amount of these albums. KRS One I got next, and I know Wu-Tang Forever. I talk about it all the time. For me, it's one of the greatest rap albums. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what are we talking about? Boot Camp Joint was hard. The Dirty 30 sound like what you boom bap kids, like I like to say, would love right now. If the Dirty 30 dropped right now, some of you guys on Twitter would call it a classic. If the Crew's Dirty 30 dropped right now, some of y'all would call it a classic. You know what I'm saying? If Tracy Lee album came out right now, some of y'all boom bap kids would love it. If and especially if Ghetto Millionaire by Royal Flush came out right now, you guys would love that album. You know what I'm saying? Especially the kids that love the kind of dope boy hood rap, whatever. Y'all would have loved that joint. You know what I'm saying? Y'all would have loved OC Jewels. You know what I'm saying? This year had something for everyone. It had the group albums. It had successful commercial joints. It had hardcore joints. West Coast still was dropping out. MCA dropped it that year, if I'm not mistaken. Also, like I told you, Mac 10, based on a true story, came out. You know what I'm saying? The Rhyme and Reason soundtrack came out. It was so much during that year. You would think that every dope album was a commercial album the way we have revisionist history about 1997. Well, 1997 is hard body, man. You know what I'm saying? The Alcoholics dropped an album, if I'm not mistaken. Oh man, let me see if anything else I missed, man. Um, man, I'm trying to tell y'all, is this really mystical drop, unpredictable, and I would be remiss. Oh, Diamond D dropped the album, that Hatred, Passion, or something like that, with some real dope joints on that, man. Diamond D joint was cold, man. Um, I'll be remiss, but also didn't say the God Rakim dropped the 18th letter. Man, they had a special on BT Rap City, with Tretch and all these people reciting rhymes from Rakim's career, because it was a big deal when Rakim dropped the 18th letter, because what he did was, uh, they did like the greatest hits with it. It was a double CD. CD one was all of the new songs, and it's been a long time. The saga continues with Pete Rock. Oh my goodness, man! Like, who is God? Look, man, Rakim's 18th letter, to me, it still remains one of the most underrated albums by a legend late in their career. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, yes, that was technically his debut solo album, but Eric B and Rakim is Rakim in terms of the rhyming. Eric B didn't rap, so when you think about Paid in Full, Father Leader, Let the Rhythm Hit Them All, those are Rakim solo albums. Just pay Eric B on the cut. You know what I'm saying? So 18th Letter, I guess technically is his debut album, because Eric B wasn't with him, but it was like his fourth, fifth album. You know what I'm saying? But it was a hiatus after Don't Sweat the Technique. Rakim didn't come out for like 6, 7 years, man. Because I think Don't Sweat the Technique might have been like '92. You know what I'm saying? So actually it was like 5 years, close to 6 years, because I think 18 Letter came out late in the year. It was an amazing album, and then the greatest hits was attached to it. So that's, again, we were fortunate enough in '97 to get a dope Rakim album. Like, go back now, go back now and listen to the 18th Letter, the rhyming on the 18th letter, even the production. Some of your favorite boom bap producers did the 18th letter. Go back and read the credit. Go back and listen to that album. You got a little commute somewhere. Go ride to the 18th letter, man. You know what I'm saying? Did I miss anybody else, man? Oh man, Raucous. That Raucous Sound Bombing came out. You know what I'm saying? That was very dope. You know what I'm saying? And you think of the whole lyricist lounge type era, um, and just that throwback to the 80s and the freestyle, the ciphers and all that, and introduced a lot of, your favorite, underground MCs, you know what I'm saying, to the masses, man. Of course, the year after that, a lot of the other guys blew up. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken, the Slim Shady EP came out that year also. Now, a lot of people slept on the Slim Shady EP. They repackaged it again at some point and added those songs into the Slim Shady LP. You know what I'm saying? But you can go check out the Slim Shady EP. I mean, that was that year also, but only the core, small Eminem fan base that probably would have been in Detroit even had that. Same with the year before that when he dropped Infinite in 1996, when he sounded like Master A's, AZ, Tread, Shred, man. He was still trying to find himself after the battle rapping Eminem. He was trying to find himself as an MC. So everyone that was he was influenced by, he kind of rapped like them on Infinite. You know what I'm saying? So go back and check that out. But yeah, the Slim Shady EP came out. I don't think I'm missing anything else now, man. It was just again, like I said, it was a dope year. You know what I'm saying? It was a year that is disrespected way too much. I never understood it, because I mean, I was in college in 1997. I didn't remember people complaining like, "Oh man, hip hop is dead, man. Hip hop is not good. All these whack joints, and man, Life After Death pumped all year." You know what I'm saying? Because forget Hypnotized and Sky's the Limit or whatever. We was listening to niggas bleed. You know what I'm saying? On campus drinking 40s. So I mean, it was hardcore. So we was listening to all them hard. I Got a Story to Tell. F and You Tonight with R. Kelly. I mean, Life After Death was hard. You know what I'm saying? Bone Thugs is Bone and Bigot, Notorious Thugs. So I mean, that was big joint. So forget the Mason Pump joint. You had all these other hard joints. Seeing Top of New York, man. Tony, Capone Noriega, Hard, Camp Low, creative. I mean, what we talking about? About MJG, Mac 10. I mean, I don't get it, man. I never understood that because, like I said, as I'm living through 1997 in college, I don't remember anyone complaining. I was a hip hop head in college. Man, look, anyone know this. I lived at the at the record store, school kids, every Tuesday. I worked for the school. I was like an RA dorm director. I get my check once a month. I would save some of it outside getting a haircut and other little stuff like that. I was at the record store. And I don't remember not one time he complained in 1997, like, man, hip hop dead. I don't remember those hip hop heads I was around saying hip hop is dead. I, I was rocking with guys who worked on the radio station and stuff like that. They weren't saying hip hop is dead. You know what I'm saying? People I knew back home in the hood wasn't saying hip hop is dead. I just never understood the whole thing about 1997 and the disrespect of 1997. It was just another dope year in hip hop to me. You know what I'm saying? And I just think the Puff and Mace shiny suit thing, it's a cool thing to say now, right? It's like if you say, oh man, I like No Way Out, or I like Harlem World, you know what I'm saying? You're not hip hop. You know what I'm saying? You gotta say you like Royal Flush or or on CNN or something like that. I can't say I like Harlem. And I didn't really love Harlem World personally, but it's a space for that. We need Harlem World. We need to. It's like LL with some of his joints. He would have hard joints on his album, but the women want to dance in the club too. You needed Mace. You needed LL. You needed what Puff was doing, man, with the remixes and stuff like that popping off in the club. You know, so yeah, some clubs will play The Wick by Gangstar. You know what I'm saying? Or even some Black Moon. But if we talking about overall, a lot of women want to hear some joints to have fun with. You got to balance hip hop out. And I still felt like it was balanced. For No Way Out, we had Forever. You know what I'm saying? For Harlem World, we had the War Report. You see what I'm saying? It was really just Bad Boy commercial in '97. Everybody else was rocking hard with heat, as far as like street joints. So it's not like you had 10 artists like Puff and Mace. You know what I'm saying? You did not have that. And again, the South was still rocking with Master P. Ghetto D was a huge album, y'all. It sold millions of records. You know what I'm saying? In '97. So, and again, man, I would challenge anyone to go back now, forget revisionist history, forget this hateful bad boy and everything like that, and look at the track list. I mean, the listing, all of the albums that came out that year, all of the singles that came out the year, not on the charts, but the singles on those albums, and talk to some people about some of them joints. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, you can ask people about, don't even say the year. Name 10 albums from 1997. I bet you, unless they hip hop heads remember dates, some of them wouldn't even think that was 1997 because 1997 has the stigma. But if you name all those albums, bro, I'm happy with '97. We got KRS One and Rakim dropping dope albums at that point in their career with the 18th level and I Got Next. We got EPMD dropping an album. You know what I'm saying? Bone Thugs was still hot. So again, I just don't remember where everyone was complaining at back then, like they do during the internet era. You know what I'm saying? When we ranking these years in hip hop, you know what I'm saying? That if you rank the '90s, where does '97 stand at? I don't know. But go back and look at 91, 90, 91, you know what I'm saying, and 97. Look at those 3 years, and then we could talk about that at some point because those 3 years are a lot closer than you think. 90, 91, and 1997. We're going to talk about that at some point. You know what I'm saying? Because people thinking that all these other years are just head and shoulders above 1997 when there are several years in the '90s that we can talk about, we can debate, and we can say, okay, we can take the 10, 15 best albums from those 3 years, and I promise you might think it's a little closer than what's led on bleed, man. But anyway, man, appreciate you. Not gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? I had a good time talking about 1997. What do you think about 1997 hip hop? What's your favorite album of 1997? What's your top 5 albums of 1997? Who's some of your favorite artists that year that dropped? You know what I'm saying? Like who you really rock to still to this day? Like certain albums that really stick to you. Me personally, man, I play Camp Low a lot. You know, so I still play Uptown a lot. I still play Wu-Tang Forever a lot. Um, man, I still play OC Jewels a lot. You know what I'm saying? So again, man, I was very pleased, man. At any rate, man, check me out at Tony the Dome on Twitter, into the dome.com. Old artists I have on there that people still are discovering. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature, man. One love, my people. Peace from NC.